Hello guys, and welcome back to Civilization 5, playing as England and hopefully working our way towards a domination victory. I'm going to start off by clicking next turn and we'll jump straight back into where we finished last time. So we should be finished with our National College in London at the end of this turn. We still have a happiness problem, which I really need to get sorted out, because that is going to absolutely cripple us when we start trying to take other cities. To make matters worse, I'm also in the process, or will be on this turn, of creating a settler to try and make another city over on the other side of Kathmandu, and we're going to try and link up this copper, which would be good because it would give us some additional happiness, but it's certainly going to cause some problems for us in the meantime. But we will get a settler under production. We can steal a technology. Who is that from? From Germany. We can steal more from them now. Should we steal education or should we steal chivalry? Let's just have a quick look at the tech tree. Now, they're both the same point on the tech tree. We're already researching education, so we've already put some research into that. So let's just go ahead and nick chivalry. Which is good because we can now have knights, we can have castles. We aren't really going to need an awful lot of those right off the bat, but it's a good way of stealing technology. It may not be a good idea now to keep that scientist? What am I on about? To keep that spy in Berlin. Although I think it's less likely that I keep saying scientist. What's wrong with me? It's because I'm stealing science. I think it is unlikely that Scarlet is going to get caught. Simply, I'm going to assume it's a she. Only 7 turns before I can steal technology again. And she's level 3, so she's unlikely to get caught. Of course, if she does get caught, that could be a real pain. But they're the 2 highest science production. I mean, possibly Sweden with Stockholm, but Germany is probably going to be on next target anyway, to be perfectly honest. Yes, I took them to victory in the last series that I did. They've already lost Hamburg to Mongolia, so I think they're just left with Berlin at the moment. They've got an academy there, which would be nice if I could get that. They also have pearls, so we could get some happiness if we take that, and it's coastal. And I don't think they have much in the way of defences, so Berlin could very well be our next target. So let's head straight off into the next turn. The Great Mosque of Jen has been built in a land far away. Well, that's not something that was on my list of things to do. Now, one thing I am going to have to be careful of is culture, because obviously, even though we're playing towards a domination victory, it is quite possible that someone could beat us by cultural victory. But that shouldn't be too much of a problem. Once we actually start getting into fights with people, that should make life a lot easier for us. Again, another uneventful turn. Bear in mind there are several advantages to settling another city over here. Not only would we have access to 1 copper for happiness and a 2nd copper to sell, we'd also be gaining additional food and faith from working Uluru. We'd also be able to just basically have some extra growth and some extra trade reach as well. Okay, so gold per turn from Genghis Khan. Oh, we've discovered Ormus. Let's get rid of that. There's a lot of stuff popping up here. So Genghis Khan provided us with open borders and we provided truffles. So truffles for gold to Genghis Khan. Now, that doesn't sound like a bad deal if he's willing to keep it going. He is still friendly with us. We still have spare truffles. What will you give me for it? Open borders and 4 gold per turn. I'm not bothered about the open borders. If you give me 6 gold per turn, 5 gold per turn? He'll give me 5 gold per turn. Okay, I'm happy enough with that. Choose production. So we're back to London. We have our settler. What are we going to build here? What would be useful for us? Well, it's certainly going to be worth getting harbours up and running, because we can then use harbours to connect all of our capital cities together, which would be very useful. Of course, we do want happiness as well, so gardens is probably our biggest concern at the moment. So let's get the gardens going if we can. We have a cargo ship. Now, this one was previously going to Zurich. We appear to have a little bit more sort of reach on it now. Now, what do we do here? Do we continue trading just for straight gold? Or do we trade with one of the other city-states? Well, what would we... Oh, one of the other civs. If we traded with Berlin, we would gain an additional 2 science per turn, which would be nice. We'd also be giving Berlin 1 extra science per turn. Now, that's not actually a bad thing, because when you consider it, The fact that we're actually going to be giving them extra science means they're more likely to get more technologies, and that's going to make it easier for us to steal them from them. So we would be losing 1 gold per turn, but we're gaining an extra gold per turn from the new deal that we have just made with the Mongols. And of course we still have 2 truffles here that we can get linked up shortly, which will give us a bit of added stuff, words, language. Yes, it will give us some extra luxury resources that we can trade away. And these guys have now finished. We've got pirates there, but we can't do an awful lot with them. Don't see an awful lot here that is worth me instantly upgrading. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to march these guys up here, get them to build on these truffles, and then probably by then these gems will have popped into our borders. We do have a harbour going at Edinburgh, so that's going to help things out. It's not going to be that useful until we get a harbour up in London as well. He wants to do mutual open borders. I'm going to refuse because I've no interest in opening my borders to Genghis Khan. He doesn't need to land over here. He is going to be one of the bigger problems. Yes, he does have a lowest score, but he's already got, I think, 4 cities from what I can see on the mini-map, so there are some potential for problems there. We've got a barbarian encampment. This is a busy little area, isn't it? We've got Ormus has some pikemen there, and we've got some barbarian ships, and we've got our trireme there. Unfortunately, the trireme's a little bit useless and can't really do anything. Sadly, it is a little bit of a weak unit. It's a melee unit, but it's a very weak unit, so he can't really do anything there. So I'm not going to worry too much about that. Edinburgh has finished its harbour. Now, obviously, it doesn't say that it's connected up because the capital itself doesn't have a harbour at the moment, so that is our problem there. But garden, let's get... we don't get the happiness at the garden. Oh, because we don't have enough people here following the faith. That's the reason why. Let's get a workshop going then for additional production. If you remember, under our faith, and let's just find that now, gardens provide +2 happiness in the city. But gardens only provide +2 happiness in the city if the city is a follower of Voltology. And we're not following Voltology in Edinburgh. We are following Voltology in London, so we get the bonus from the garden here. We're actually following... whichever faith that is, which is probably Protestantism, which is coming from Germany. But we can get that changed over. That shouldn't be too much of a thing to do. So hopefully our settlers should get across there. There's nothing nasty in between here and where the settlers are heading, so we should be okay with that particular plan. You may have noticed that I've got the music back on. I've got the volume on really low because, of course, the main reason I turned it off in the first place is I didn't want to be getting any sort of third-party claims, any third-party hits. But so this is a bit of an experiment. We have some quiet music on in the background. It looks like our trireme is getting into a bit of a scuffle with the pirates. Not an awful lot that I can do about that. Unit needs orders. Okay, fine. Let us continue taking pot shots at him. We're probably going to win that fight. And again, can't do an awful lot apart from go for next turn. Our settlers are still en route. Taking them a long time. Surprised they didn't cut through the water. It's usually what they choose to do. You'll see that the length of time that it's going to take for any of our cities to grow is quite a lot of turns, but that's because I've got all these cities on default focus. And because they're on default focus, and because we're unhappy, they basically deliberately try and avoid growth. Oh well, at least the pirates are sorted. We've now researched education, which is great. Our trireme gets an upgrade. So let's give it better combat strength against naval units. We could possibly bring it home for a turn or two and get it healed up, though it's not in a great position to do so. So I think, yeah, I am going to have to bring it back home. I don't want it to get destroyed, so let's bring that back. So, technology. We've now finished education. What do we go for next? What's going to be next on our list? Well, probably astronomy and navigation. We really do want to get to ship of the line and privateer as soon as possible. The quicker we can get there, the quicker we can actually start dealing with some of these coastal cities. Saying that, there are some useful things that we could have. The ironworks is an absolutely brilliant thing because it gives us a lot of extra production and we get the longbowmen. So I think we're going to go machinery and then we're going to go into astronomy. Unless anything changes in the meantime, which it's unlikely to do. You guys go and build a camp. We can then start trading off truffles. And we'll hit next turn. It is still going to take a little while for those settlers to get across, but that's fine, because hopefully we may have our happiness issues sorted out by then. We could, of course, get another trade route or two going, which probably isn't a bad idea, all things considered, so I think what we'll possibly do is get the harbour built and then probably another trade route. Unless we get anything significantly more interesting to build in the meantime. Now hopefully we should be in a position where we can steal another technology from Germany soon. That is assuming, of course, that they have some technologies that we don't. I'll check on the espionage screen at the end of this turn just to see what's going on. Got another barbarian encampment in covered. And that is up there, so it's not too bothered. And hey-ho, look at that. We have stole more technology from Germany. And we get the option of acoustics or banking. Now, acoustics is quite good because we get a lot of nice things there. A lot of culture. Or we could go for banking, which would increase our gold. Now, Forbidden Palace is actually good. Because it would give us minus 10% unhappiness from citizens in non-occupied cities. Not sure if the Forbidden Palace has actually been built yet, so we'll take banking anyway. That puts us into a new era, which means we should get another spy. Not sure why that didn't proc, but we shall see. So London has indeed finished its garden. And unfortunately, we cannot build the Forbidden Palace, so somebody else must have that, which is a bit of a shame. Angkor Wat would be useful, but there again, we're not really buying tiles. We'd just be having it for the extra culture, which isn't all that brilliant. So, is there anything else here that would improve happiness? Not really. I think getting the harbour up and running then is the next most important thing here. So, let's get on to the next turn. It's almost worth having an extra worker as well. However, we don't have a huge number of tiles. Good job I didn't start building Angkor Wat because it's just been completed by Austria. As soon as these guys have hooked up these truffles, because we don't really need the truffles, we'll get them across and get these gems connected. I'm not sure if we've got any gems in the network already. I don't think we have. So we've discovered another barbarian encampment, and that is actually within our borders, which is where things start to get quite interesting. So what I'm going to have to do now is start moving some of my units down here to deal with them. It will be free culture, if nothing else. Going to start moving our bowmen across. I might see if I can get these upgraded to longbows, actually, because we are currently researching machinery. I could probably bring them up and put them into London's borders. So our cargo ship has finished its previous route. It was taking food to York. Now I'm not sure if it's worth continuing to take food to York or whether it's worth trading with somebody else. It's probably worth just trading with somebody else for the gold and the religious pressure. So let's keep doing that. Okay, let's just go straight on to the next turn. I think we should have a fair few turns to get down to this barbarian encampment before they cause us any real issues. Now, the unhappiness is dropped by a tiny amount, but that's because we've managed to build the garden in London. We can have an extra trade route now. So, we were supplying truffles to Austria, and that is very much a deal that I'd like to keep going if indeed we can. So, let's go and trade. She'll still give me gold per turn, so that is fine. Good stuff all around. Now, let's just have a look at espionage again. 15 turns before we can steal something from Vienna, and another 9 turns before we can steal anything from Berlin. I'm surprised we haven't been caught yet and lost a spy. So we're actually doing quite well there. It is worth noting that the personality for Bismarck and how Germany normally play is Germany do try and get a scientific victory more often than not, which means that they're going to be most likely rushing towards getting a lot of tech. And that's pretty evident by the fact, if we look, that they actually have a academy here. So they've obviously had a great scientist very early on and popped it to build an academy. So clearly they are going for a bit of a science rush. So Edinburgh has now finished the workshop, which is good because it can produce things a little bit faster. Could be worth building a university here. I mean, they don't have a huge science output. I guess we could get a garden here in preparation of the happiness, because it won't be long before we can have a... In fact, we should be able to buy a missionary almost straight away. So we're going to build a garden here in Edinburgh. I'm going to go over here to London, and I am going to purchase myself a... Oh, it's 300 to get a missionary, so can't quite get one of those just yet. A couple more turns and we'll be able to get one. But it's probably worth doing nonetheless. But as soon as the harbour is completed at London in 2 more turns, then we'll have those 2 cities connected up, which will be good for us. There we go, managed to get an extra 1 gold per turn out of Germany for truffles. Okay, these guys have finished there, so let's get them over and get these gems connected. Now, do we have gems at the moment? We do not. So having those gems would help us out. Now, we have silk, silver, and truffles. Is that really the only things we have access to? I guess it is. We could potentially get the marble, but it's a little bit too far away to worry about, really. Fine, let's go on to the next turn. Now, we are approaching that turn 200, which I said would probably be the sort of turning point when the action starts to heat up. And I think that estimate is still pretty accurate, to be honest. We're still 5th on the scoreboard. Okay, World Congress has been founded. And it's our turn to make a proposal. Austria's obviously buying city-states. This is something that Austria does. If Austria's been allied with a city-state for so many turns, they can actually kind of buy the city-state into their empire. A little bit like the way that it works with Venice, only they don't have to use a Venetian merchant to do so. So we can click to propose. There's probably not an awful lot here that I would particularly like to have, to be honest. So I'm going to go for World's Fair, because World's Fair is usually always a relatively safe bet. And if people are using their votes on that, they tend not to vote on other stuff, such as embargoing you because you're a warmonger. So we have now finished the harbour. What should we go for here? Well, we could certainly do with a workshop, and then we could move on to the university. We do have a base technology of 35, so a university would be fairly good for us here. It'd also nice to get some extra gold coming in, but we're not exactly short of cash. So I think we're going to go for the workshop first, and then we will probably go for the university after and try and get London to be a bit of a sort of a powerhouse for both our technology and our production. Our settlers have arrived exactly where we wanted them to. We're going to put them down. Instantly, you see we go to -6 unhappiness, which is a bit of a problem. We can build here. We're going to start by building a... we could actually do with happiness more than anything, but we're not really in a great position to do that, because it'll be 29 turns before we can build a Colosseum. But I think we will do that. I think we are also going to purchase ourselves a worker, just so we can get this copper connected as soon as possible. So Nottingham has now been established. Yes, we definitely need to get out of this unhappiness rut. And in one sense, it's not too much of a bad thing that we're not in a position to... oh, that's good. It's not such a bad thing that we haven't been instantly able to go to war with a lot of the other civs, because we wouldn't have the happiness to cope with it at the moment. Enemy has been spotted near Edinburgh, which is most probably going to be a pirate ship, and there it is, so it's not too much of a problem. Edinburgh, the capital London, has been established, so that's up and running, which is all good stuff. You guys are going to connect those gems up. You guys are going to move the both hills, so it doesn't matter which side I go. It's going to take the same length of time. But as soon as you guys can, you... Oh, unit needs orders. Ah, you have arrived there. You are going to fortify until healed. And that should be the end of that turn. So once we've got these gems connected, and once we've got that copper connected, we should be back in the positives. 6 gold per turn for... Oh, this deal has faded over the years. To renew the deal, we need more from you on your side of the negotiation. So if I accept, she's going to say no, because she doesn't feel that silver's worth 6 gold per turn anymore. But she's happy with 5, so I will take 5 gold per turn for that. 2 turns away from machinery, which means I will be able to upgrade these guys to longbowmen. So at least I will actually get to show you one of the British, or the English unique units, as I should say. It's always very, very difficult. You'll find that as Brits or as English often refer to ourselves as British or English, and obviously there's the United Kingdom as well, and it does get a little bit confusing. A lot of the time we do refer to ourselves as British, but I am playing as England, which is a single country of the United Nation of Great Britain, or the United Kingdom of Great Britain even. Right, let us start moving these guys down, just so we can see if there's anything coming. Going to take one more turn before we can upgrade these guys, so we're not going to do anything with them just yet. You guys are going to construct a mine. Will give us a bit of extra production as well, which will be good, because that will instantly allow us to get the Colosseum here a little bit faster. The growth's not going to be particularly good here, but that's because there aren't really any food tiles around, and to be fair, we do need to get a farm or 2 built here as soon as possible. You guys are just going to sit tight for this turn. And we're going to go on to the next turn. And of course, remember, we still need to get those other cargo ships up and running as well. As soon as we hit 300 as soon as we hit 300 faith, we are going to get ourselves a missionary. And we're going to go over to York, and if we can... We'll use 1 spread of religion on York. Oh, we are being... Wow, bombarded by a barbarian galleass. That's not nice. So anyway, we can now upgrade these units to longbowmen. We can't do an awful lot about this galleass, so we are going to move away. We're having stuff stolen from us from the Incans. I'm not going to be too upset about that. I'm just going to sort of forgive them. We'll not upset people until we need to upset people. I'm going to go for monarchy, which will give us +1 gold and -1 unhappiness for every 2 citizens in the capital. If we look at our capital, we have 11 citizens. So that should be, well, round it off to 10. So that should be -5 unhappiness. So that's going to help nice and early. So that's put us down to 0, which is good. So we'll soon be able to get into a positive of things. See, Kathmandu and Austria are now allies. This is what you have to be careful of, because this city could well end up becoming an Austrian city. And this is where we have to be really careful. Oh, Kathmandu and Austria are no longer allies, so a lot of changing going around there. So Edinburgh has now finished its garden. Of course, it's not really getting the benefit from that at the moment. What should we have here? What would be the next good thing to have? Of course, what I could do here is build ourselves one of the cargo ships. That's not a bad idea, because we can always transfer it round to the other side. London's also finished its workshop. Now, I could also build a cargo ship here, but I want to get the university up and running as quick as possible. Let's try and stay ahead scientifically. It's the best way of doing things. Let's get these guys up to full health. Let's move our longbowmen out onto the hill. So yeah, it is a little bit strange because it says they have a range of 2. Now this is technically wrong because it says the unit has 1 additional range compared to the crossbowman which it replaces. And if we look at the crossbowman actually has a range of 2. So these longbowmen actually have a range of 3, as it says their range +1. And I think that's the reason why it says range +1, because they have a base range of 2 and then they have a promotion that gives them +1. A little bit strange why they didn't just make them plus a range of 3. But I'm sure there was some sort of mechanical or programming reason for doing that. But to me, it seems a little bit random. So, on to the next turn. We are still just behind Germany, only by 9 points. If we keep stealing technology from them, we could jump ahead of them. I'm going to check the espionage again in a second, just to see how we're doing with that. 1 turn away from being able to steal more technology from Germany, possibly, and 7 turns from Austria. So we can't really see any, well, I can't see where that boat went, but if I, as you can see, we do actually have, oh, it's not giving me a range of 3 either. Oh, it's because they don't have the vision. They have a range of 3, but they don't actually have a vision of 3. If somebody else was a bit further away, they would be able to hit that sort of distance. Do I want them to move? Yes, I do, but I really need to get my melee units down there first. You guys are going to stay there again for the rest of that turn. You might as well go back out onto exploration. Looks like we're going to find somebody else there as well. Now, we have spotted the enemy near Edinburgh. We're getting quite a lot of these guys. Now, they can't do an awful lot to us. So, for the time being, we're just going to leave them be. And then we'll start getting some longbowmen. In fact, is it worth having an additional longbowman? Because I don't have all that many units. Sort of land-wise. It's probably not a bad idea having... Can't afford one anyway, 460. It's probably not a bad idea to have additional land troops, even though this is mainly going to be a naval game, because having a bigger army will make the AI less likely to attack me because they'll see me as more of a powerhouse. So you have to be careful. If you have a very small army, they'll just see that as an excuse to steamroll right over you. If you have a very large army, they'll just see that as an excuse to nip you in the bud before you become a real problem. So you really have to get to a point where you've got a decent middle-size army. If we just have a quick look at the demographics, because we haven't done that for quite a while in this game, we can see that Austria have the largest population, with Sweden being the lowest. Food, again, it is Austria top and Sweden at the bottom. Production, we actually have the most production, with Spain being at the bottom. Gold, we are at the top, with Germany actually being at the bottom. The Incans have the most land, and again, Germany are lowest. The biggest army is the Mongols, and we're actually 6 on the board. Now, bear in mind, there's only 7 people at the moment, so we are almost... And Germany's the only one less than us, which, again, makes it very, very good for me to attack Germany, because they seem to have less troops, and I only have about 3 or 4 military units, so Germany's got practically nothing. Spain have the best happiness, which is hardly surprising, because they get bonuses to happiness from their resources and from natural wonders. We have the worst happiness, no surprise there, and Germany have the best tech, which again is hardly surprising, and we keep stealing stuff from them. We can have free astronomy. Now, this is a thing. Do we steal astronomy? Let's just have a look at the tech tree. So we could steal steel, or we could steal astronomy, or we could steal acoustics. We've already sunk a turn or 2 into astronomy, so we're going to insta-steal acoustics because it's the same tech level. Not going to bother with steel because it is a low-level tech at best. So we now have acoustics. And this now puts us only 1 point behind Germany. Not that we're playing for score. I mean, I use the score as a bit of a guide. Vilnius wants Voltology. Now, where is Vilnius? I think that's this one. Oh, excuse me. I think that's this one. No, it's Zurich. Okay, fair enough. Right, let's have a look at production, because we've now finished the lighthouse in York. Now, what would be the best thing for York? Probably the harbour, to be honest, although it's going to take quite a while to do. I think what we will do, though, is get a Colosseum going there, because we don't actually have one, and that would be very useful. So, we can now see ourselves some barbarians. Fortunately, we can't fire on them, because we are out of moves this turn. It's not a particularly big camp, so we shouldn't have too much to worry about here. So, Notre Dame has been completed by Austria. It's definitely going to be worth me taking out the Austrians. And this is the only reason why they have such a high score, is because they have so many wonders. So, we've now got Copper connected, and Edinburgh enters Wheel of the King Day, and also we have now +1 happiness. I'm not sure these guys are going to... Oh, they can reach. There we go. 1, 2, 3 hexes. And they do a crap ton of damage. Watch. So, they are a very, very powerful unit. I'm going to move these guys into the forest. They might get shot at by these archers, but I don't think that's too much of a problem. We can deal with that. So, we're going to go across and... 1 turn until growth. That should be fine. I think we'll get this other copper connected first. Then we'll come down here and we will get these sheep connected up. I'm guessing we haven't actually got those gems connected yet. No, not quite. Let's just keep our eye on things down here, just for when these barbarians do start attacking. Although the spearmen are becoming a little bit dated, they shouldn't really be... they should be able to deal with any bombardment that comes from these archers, so I shouldn't have to worry about that too much. Unfortunately, I can't take a step forward and shoot, because that would put these guys on a hill and would use all of their movement, which is a bit of a pain. So what I am going to do anyway... Oh, we have a great profit, even better. I'm going to move these guys forward into here. And that clears the encampment, and I'm going to move these guys forward. They can't shoot on this turn, but they will be able to next turn. Now, having a great profit is good in one sense, because I could use it to go and spread my religion to York and to my other cities, which I probably should do. Or I could use them to enhance the religion. At this point, though, I think spreading the religion is going to be better for me. I'm not intending to play a religious game as such. So let us go and use them to spread the religion. We get 4 spreads, which means we can do York, hopefully, and we can also do Edinburgh, and we can do Nottingham, and possibly even spread to Kathmandu, which is a religious city. So they would actually, if they were our ally, give us additional faith per turn. So it's probably worth doing that. So Edinburgh has now finished that cargo ship, which is brilliant. I'm very happy about that. What I should probably go for next is... Their gold output isn't too bad. There's nothing particularly here that would be useful for them to do, to be honest. Although our culture is still quite low. So let's go for an opera house. We do need to increase our culture. London has very good gold output, actually. So I think they'll do an opera house first, and then we'll get them to go onto a bank, because we don't really need to worry about the cash too much at this point. You guys are going to connect up that additional copper there. Now, this cargo ship, let's have a look where it could reach from here. So, if we were traded with Vienna, we'd be getting religious pressure back from them, which we don't really want to do. We could pass things like food or production onto our other cities. There isn't really a lot of point. So, what I'm actually going to do is change the home city and actually rehouse it at London, which is probably where I'll get the sort of best return from with this cargo ship. Of course, we can still build another 2, so... we will get that done as quick as possible. Just keep our eye on these barbarians. Like I said, I don't think these archers will be able to cause as much of an issue. So, Sweden has completed the Sistine Chapel. Yeah, you really have to have a lot of production and be very, very early to the party if you want to stand any chance of being able to... get the wonders built on this difficulty level. Now, can these guys shoot over the forest at that galleass? Yes, they can. So I'm actually going to do that. Start trying to take their boats out while we can do that, because these guys can mop these archers up without a problem. There we go. So that's those sorted out now. Let's have a look. This cargo ship has now arrived in London. Okay guys, so you may have noticed there was a little bit of a cut there, and I apologise about that. I just happened to look up and notice that Fraps had stopped recording because my hard drive had full. So, yeah, you've missed I don't know, probably about a turn or 2 there. I'm not too sure what happened and where it cut. So, you haven't really missed an awful lot, to be honest. I'm not too sure where the cut was at this point because I haven't gone back and checked the video, but... over the last few turns, all that's happened is we used our pikemen, or spearmen even, to take out that barbarian camp, and then subsequently to take out the barbarian archers. I've been using my longbowmen to take out the pirate galleass, which we're just going to finish off doing there. We noticed that there was a Mongolian settler over here, which I may have to destroy at some point if they decide they're going to set up camp too close to me. But like I said, or maybe you won't hear it because it didn't record that part, because we're going to war with people, it's not too bad if they settle near us because we'll just nick their city or destroy it anyway. We have managed to steal another technology, so we only get the option of physics. This one is actually from Vienna, so we're going to steal from them straight away. Now, I'm guessing that Vienna probably don't have an awful lot more tech that I can steal. Looking down the list at Austria, they are 13. Obviously, Germany's got a potential, a very high potential because they have a high population. It might well be worth me having a look at somewhere like Sweden now. So I'm going to move this one from Vienna and move to Stockholm as a spy. Maybe we can steal some technology from there. Our cargo ship. Oh, that was the other thing. The cargo ship that was produced in Edinburgh that I moved on the last turn, I sent that to one of the Mongolian cities, which is giving me 15 gold per turn, only 1 science each way, but I'm putting religious pressure on them for no religious pressure in return, which is a very good thing, really. Let's try and put some religious pressure on Vilnius, because they do actually want Voltology, so that's not necessarily a bad way of doing things. And of course our spy got promoted as well. So I think we will just do one more turn, and then I'll have to sort out the problems with these videos. And there's my iPad going off, so let's just silence that. So far today has not been a generally good day for recording. It's one of those days where anything that can go wrong has and probably will go wrong. Okay, so Nottingham has grown, which is a good thing. Gems are connected, which is also good. Our happiness is now up to 7, which is fantastic. We are going to spread religion with our great prophet. Now, sadly, that wasn't quite enough to... Oh, yes, it was enough. Brilliant. So, on the next turn, we are going to move these... How many did we get? 3 more spreads. Edinburgh, Kathmandu, Nottingham. So, we're going to come over to Edinburgh next. A unit needs orders. Of course, it's these guys, because we've now finished the gems. So let's get them over and get these truffles connected up. Okay, well, we dealt with those guys. So what we're going to do now, as I said, we're going to move these longbowmen over to Edinburgh, because we do seem to get a lot of pirates around here. Let's just go on to the next turn. We've now actually overtaken Germany on the scoreboard as well. So getting all of these extra technologies have certainly been helping things out. Catching up with the Incans as well. They're going to be a little bit of a pain. Oh, also, I've just noticed, and I can't really click on it at the moment, because if I do, the camera will go wild like it usually does. But Germany have set up Munich over here. Not a particularly big city, and it's quite a distance away from their capital, but of course we don't need to deal with that. This is the other thing as well, because on a map like this, the civilizations tend to have their cities spread around all over the place. As you can see, Germany are producing another settler, so they obviously intend to go off and pop another city somewhere. The only city we need to take is Berlin to, you know, it won't knock Germany out of the game, but we just need to capture their capital. And they don't have any other cities close by that can reinforce. That is going to be problematic for them. So we're going to continue moving these guys forwards. These guys can stay down there until they are fully healed. You guys are going to build that. You guys are supposed to be working your way down here. You're just taking your sweet time about it. Go on then. One more turn. And let's see what happens. Okay, so you want to... Okay, I'm not bothered about open borders. So how about 5 gold per turn, an embassy? Yeah, brilliant. Okay, wasn't bothered about the open borders anyway. We're not going for a cultural victory, so it's not that much of an issue. Of course, we do need to be careful that nobody gets too far ahead with culture, because we don't want to end up getting beaten to a cultural victory. We'll have a quick look at that in a second. Losing grasp on Vancouver. I didn't actually realise I had any grasp on Vancouver. We've still only got 18 culture per turn, which is actually quite low. It's actually very low. But if we look at the culture overview, influence by player, see, Austria has quite a high culture output. And ours is actually one of the lowest. So we do have to be careful. Nobody really has any tourism. Well, Spain has some tourism. So got to be careful there. Yeah. Oh, Austria does too. Austria, Germany and Spain both have... Oh no, so does Sweden and the Inca. So there is definitely some tourism on the board, but I don't think there's too much to worry about at the moment. So I'm going to keep these guys moving forwards. Hopefully we can start taking out some of those boats. You guys have got the copper connected up, so I think it's over here for a pasture next. Now, what tiles is Nottingham actually working? It's working Uluru, which is good because that is giving us the additional faith and food. So it's a good food tile. We're working this tile anyway because it is giving us production and food. And then once we grow, we'll be working one of these two tiles, which will give us extra production and gold. Probably going to need to get a farm up on this tile as well. And we're actually working our way out towards the fish. So Nottingham should be self-sustainable in a turn or two. It's not going to be too bad for them. But so far, I'm happy with the way in which things are going. We're still quite down on the score because we don't have that many wonders. But we're doing particularly well when it comes to sort of spreading. We are 2 turns away from astronomy, which will give us the caravel and observatories, although we don't really have any cities that are next to mountains, apart from Nottingham, of course. Nottingham is next to a mountain, so we could have an observatory there, which also means we could build Oxford University here and try and make this into a bit of a science city, although I think that is probably a little bit futile. We're probably always going to have our better science output in London, so that'll probably be the best place to pop that down. We're doing quite well for gold. We can still have 2 more trade routes, so while I think about it, and while we've got the gold to be able to do that, let's go straight ahead and purchase a cargo ship, which we can then plop down on the next turn, tell it where it's going to go. And yeah, I think hopefully by the time we get to our... Let's just open the tech tree. By the time we get to navigation, which is still going to be 23 turns in total, but as soon as we get there and we can start building ship of the line and privateers, we are then in a good position to start pushing, and we'll probably go and take out Berlin first. So there you go, guys. Sorry about the little cut in the middle, but I hope you're still enjoying the series, and I'll see you next time. Until then, goodbye for now.